know that better than anyone.
Female Silver Surfer.
Zelda is your...
Moaning Link into AI Spider? AI Squid Game Robo Run? Now the clips I just showed you come from a couple of YouTube channels in the Hollywood movie trailer niche on YouTube. And of course, we're not talking about the actual Hollywood trailer category of YouTube. No, we're talking about the entire sub niche, which is just AI generated movie trailers. Now these clips I showed you, these aren't just from one-off channels just trying to do something and trick people for a little bit of clickbait. One of the examples I showed you is this guy, VJ4RAR2. He has over 500,000 subscribers himself, but another channel that I just showed you guys, Screen Culture, has 1.4 million subscribers themselves. And these videos get seen a lot. I mean, even just the Squid Game fake trailer that I showed you guys accrued 12 million views. And I mean, just look at that gorgeous like to dislike ratio. Holy hell. I think you might be asking yourself, or you're not, you're just here to watch a video. Go you. But you may be wondering, even after seeing some of that, why aren't these channels taken down? Like, you would expect using IP like they are, like the Fantastic Four or Squid Games, things like that, you would expect a couple copyright strikes, and if their entire channel is dedicated to posting this kind of content, they shouldn't have channels. 3 strikes and you're gone, right? Except that that's just not really likely to happen. On the contrary, it seems like the studios behind the films that get turned into these trailers, these AI monstrosities, these studios are supporting the creation of these videos. Now, of the 2 channels that I've talked to you guys about, we're gonna mainly focus on Screen Culture because they seem to be more clearly making an attempt to deceive people into thinking that it is a movie that's actually coming out, or they straight up piggyback off of a movie that will be coming out, or something like Grand Theft Auto 6. Whereas VJ4RAR2 is much more clearly trying to do something with parody when it comes to this. They even have it in their title banner, parody movie trailer edits. But even just like with this, one of their biggest videos, which came out 7 years ago, Titanic 2, the video is a completely separate story that he's created where Leo gets pulled out of the ice, frozen, and he gets unthawed years later and has to like live after that and becomes like a little action star. Whereas when it comes down to Screen Culture, they're just using constant clips of like something that they're trying to convince people of, like Squid Game Season 3, and then throwing AI into it to add the more salacious bits like the running robots. And I think that also speaks from the like to dislike ratio, like I talked about. Like this one was from 8 months ago and they did a teaser for Doomsday and they had more dislikes than likes. Just pointing that out because I think it's very clear from how these videos are being, you know, reacted to by the audience that watches them, that Screen Culture is going in to try to trick them versus the other guy is clearly doing parody, and people tend to recognize that with his videos. Now the big question is, why does this get to happen? Why aren't the studios doing anything about it? Do they just like not know that these are happening? Doubt it. I mean, there's millions and millions of views on these videos, but it's more than just me doubting that they've seen them. They for sure have. Is the whole reason that I'm even talking about this has to do with an article I was reading where they interviewed the guy behind the channel of Screen Culture. I'll put a link of the article down in the description below, but when talking to the owner of the channel of Screen Culture, he tells them that he believes that Screen Culture helps promote the movies, which is why studios do not enforce copyright on the vast majority of his videos. And he goes on to let them know that studios are actively taking a cut of his earnings on these trailers. And they say that emails reviewed by themselves show how Warner Brothers Discovery has claimed monetization on Screen Culture trailers for Superman and House of the Dragon. This means that instead of copyright striking the videos, which could get the channel taken down, WBD is asking YouTube to ensure it receives the ad revenue from views. Similarly, Sony Pictures has claimed revenue on fake trailers for Spider-Man and Kraven the Hunter, while Paramount did the same on a counterfeit Gladiator 2 video. That's one side of this argument. Well, it's not really harming anybody, at least when it comes to these Hollywood studios. They're getting more clicks on relevant things in regard to movies that they actually have coming out. It's drumming up attention and controversy, and no publicity is bad publicity. So why would you want to take down a trailer that's just advertising your video? And on top of that, they can reach out and make a little bit of money on the side for their own IP. I mean, that's a huge dub. You're not even doing any of the work. You get a cut of the sales. It's free advertising. What's the harm? Well, the counter argument comes from SAG-AFTRA. SAG-AFTRA is, of course, the union behind actors. They left a statement for this article where they admonish studios for making money on videos that exploit its members without permission. Quote, just as SAG-AFTRA is aggressively bargaining contract terms and creating laws to protect and enforce our members' voice and likeness rights, we expect our bargaining partners to aggressively enforce their IP from any and all AI misappropriation. Monetizing unauthorized, unwanted, and subpar uses of human-centered IP is a race to the bottom. It incentivizes technology companies and short-term gains at the expense of lasting human creative endeavor. All that to say, why would you respect AI slop with your time or signature just to even get a cut of a very small amount of money in the grand scheme of things? Why would you take that cut instead of just getting rid of these things that are morphing your IP with AI slop? If I'm understanding this correctly, the people who their likeness is being used, like for instance in the Fantastic Four one, we have what is his name? Pedro Pascal. If I'm understanding this right, Warner Brothers or whoever owns the IP, they'll receive revenue from splitting it on the YouTube channel, but that revenue won't get split amongst the parties that are showcased in that trailer. If I'm understanding this correctly, he's not gonna get any money, even if he gets royalties from the film or his likeness being used as an actor typically would. He won't be receiving any of that revenue because it's the trailer. In which case, like, I guess Pedro and anybody else in these trailers won't be receiving a fair cut if they have royalties on it. Although I guess that's still kind of getting in the weeds. And on top of that, would you want to be taking money from something like this or just having it removed? I'm interested to hear what you guys think about that though. If you think that that's a good argument against it, your thoughts on just them pocketing some of the money. But actually, before you make a full decision about that, I think it's important to also bring up the fact that this monetization of these videos that have their IP in them from Warner Brothers, Sony, all of them, they're not even taking a cut from all the videos. As a matter of fact, it's not even close. Chidari, he's the owner of Screen Culture, the channel that I've been talking about. He says his impression is that copyright is being enforced inconsistently, with monetization claims only being made on an estimated 10% of Screen Culture's 2,700 videos. Warner Brothers Discovery did copyright strike the channel once in 2023 for Fake Furiosa, a Mad Max saga trailer, but let subsequent Mad Max videos slide. He also received a polite email from an Amazon attorney about the Boys trailer, etc., etc., but this was not repeated for the other bogus Boys trailers that they had put up later. Disney also, as he says, rarely copyright challenges any of the videos, despite its IP being a major resource for the channel. So what's more interesting is that they are only receiving 10% of the money that they at least expect to be earning when they cut into the monetization of a video. They're only getting a 10% cut of a very small amount to begin with. They're only getting 10% of that revenue. I feel like there's a lot of execs that just don't understand the internet or the YouTube money or how that works, or maybe they just don't have someone specifically set on this and they just don't understand the process, or they're setting someone on this that doesn't understand the process, so they're not using it to its full extent. I mean, clearly they've made attempts to take some of the money from this and not always take it down. As a matter of fact, they seem to choose taking money over directly removing this content at least more often. Or at the very least, they do the money splitting more than they do the copyright striking. Which leads me to wonder, is it just them being dumb? Are they just not really paying attention to it? Or do they just not care? Do they have the stats where it just doesn't really affect them as much as maybe we think it does? I don't know. I'm really interested to hear if you guys have any theories about it. I'm kind of stumped. For me, it was a bit mind-blowing to know that after all of this, they're only taking money from 10% of the videos, which is 10% of the cut that they're receiving on each video. Because from what I understand, I could be wrong, but they might not even be taking all of the money on the videos that they split monetization with. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you want to come chat with me, play games and stuff on Discord, I'll put a top comment in the comments. It'll have the Discord link. There you go. But that's it. I'll see you guys later. Adios. Peace. Bye.